Someone asked me a couple weeks ago if I had any recommendations for books on Christology. So in this video, I want to briefly discuss what is meant by Christology and then offer some recommendations for books on the topic. Now, this is not meant to be an exhaustive list or an exhaustive explanation of what Christology is, and it's also not meant to be offering the most intense or popular books on the topic. Rather, this is a compilation of books that I personally really enjoyed and was edified by. And so if I'm not recommending a book in this video, that doesn't mean that I don't personally like it. These are just some of my favorites. And as always, I always enjoy hearing your recommendations in the comments section and would love to hear your feedback on my list and also a collection of your own. What would you put on your list? But before we do that, let me welcome you to Petra Publications and introduce myself. My name is Davis, and here on this channel I mostly just review Reformed Christian books. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, I'd love to have you join us by subscribing down below, and be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified of our future uploads. And if you've been following for a while, links down below to our donation page, where you can donate either a one-time donation or sign up for a monthly subscription on our subscription platform, Bibliophiles, which does also come with various perks. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this. What is Christology? If you're new to theology, you may not even have heard this term before, and so I want to explain it really quickly. I will probably add chapters to this video, so if you're not interested in hearing this, or if you already know about this, feel free to skip forward in the video. But if you're new, Christology, first of all, is not talking about rocks. It's not mysticism. It's not talking about crystals, Christology. It's about Christ, Christology. It is the study of Christ. It is an attempt to understand his works, his life, his death, his burial, his resurrection. Understanding him as a prophet, a priest, and a king. This is what is meant by Christology. So if you're a Christian, you have an interest in Christology. First and foremost, it is a central aspect of our faith. As Christians, it is vital that we understand who Christ is, what he did, and what he is doing. It's also necessary that as Christians it is also necessary, point two. As Christians, we are called to pick up our cross and follow him. Well, how can we do this without knowing where he is, what he's done, and what he's doing? Third, it's captivating. It grabs our attention and forces us to live a life that's different, one set aside for him. So when we study Christ in Christology, we are sanctified through it. In each one of the books I'm about to recommend here that's on my list, we see a different angle of Christology, which results in various applications to our lives. And then finally, it's a glorious thing. Christ is glorious, and so studying him is one of the most glorious things that we as humans can do. So with all that in mind, let's look at 5 of my favorite books on Christology. Most of these I either have reviewed or will review, so you can find reviews of those on the channel here. But the first one is Comfort and Holiness from Christ's Priestly Work. This is one that I'll review soon. This is by William Bridge. And this one, as the title suggests, sort of talks about Christ and his priestly work, which as an application results in our holiness, our sanctification, and in fact our comfort and ease of life, knowing that Christ is interceding on our behalf. So this is an excellent short book on Christ as a priest and discusses what that means for our lives. Next up, I have The Person of Christ, Finding Assurance by Walking with Jesus by Andrew Bonner. This is a book that I reviewed back in 2024. And again, as the title suggests, this book helps us to find assurance knowing that Christ is a person. He is a man and he is God, 100% each. But in his personhood, we can find assurance, we can find hope, knowing that he relates to us, that he feels the same things that we feel, that he understands exactly what we are going through, that he understands our weak and feeble demeanors. So another excellent book that I highly recommend. Then there's The Preeminent Christ, God's Beautiful and Unchanging Gospel by Paul Washer. This is another book I reviewed in 2023. And an excellent book. This highlights that Christ is the front, he is the most important, he is the focal point of the gospel. Without Christ, we have nothing. Without Christ, we are not Christians. And so here in this book, he talks about the preeminence of the gospel, the preeminence of salvation, the preeminence of sanctification, and Christ being the forefront of all of those things. Then he gives us a warning about neglecting the gospel and neglecting Christ, who is preeminent in that gospel. And he also helpfully reminds us that the gospel is an unchanging gospel, and that is a beautiful and wonderful thing. All right, so those are a little easier. They're really short books. Now I have two that are a little more dense, a little more challenging to read. The first one is Volume 2 of Beeke and Smalley's Reformed Systematic Theology, which dives deeply into Christology. Now, I haven't read all of that in its entirety, but what I love about Beeke's systematic theology is his emphasis on application. So at the end of each chapter, he offers questions for further study. He offers a song to be sung, a hymn, to reflect on what you've just read. And he also offers further study in terms of recommendations for other reading. So this is an excellent introduction to Christology that also dives a little bit deeper into Christ's work and his character. And so this is just an excellent book that I would highly recommend on Christology. And then finally, this is one I read back all the way in 2022. This is B.B. Warfield's Christology and Criticism. Now, there was recently a republished book. I think that it's the same book under a different title put out by Crossway, I think. I'll link that down below as well as all these other books. But this is an excellent book talking about, again, Christ, his work, and this sort of gets into some heresies in understanding Christ, including the 20th century Christ, which is bad. A few other thoughts on this is just that it dives, again, into these heresies as opposed to the greatness and glory of Christ. So he's guarding you against, he's warning you against these heresies that you might be susceptible to fall into. So yeah, these are 5 excellent books on Christology that I would highly recommend to anyone who's interested in learning more about the topic of Christology or studying Christ further. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think I missed? What would you add to this list? What would you change about this list? And that's all I have for today. Hopefully this review was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. And if it was, I always love hearing from you in the comment section down below also. And that's all I have. So Lord willing, I will see you again very soon. God bless.